Alright, so here's how I tricked my brain to be productive on a day where I was feeling lazy, on a day where I didn't really feel like training. Alright, so first of all, today I got a 7 mile bike in, and I also did 150 push ups. I also did 100 pull ups. So here's how I tricked my brain into doing the work, and this is how you can do it as well. You can trick your brain, actually. You can hack it to think that the work is actually easier than it is, right? You could be doing hard work, and you could take this lesson and implement it into other areas of your life. You could take this lesson that I learned from working out and implement it into other areas of your life as well, all right? So basically what I did my 100 push-ups. Later on, I did 50 push-ups. When I was doing my pull-ups, I did 100 pull-ups. And this trick, I've used it many, many times in the gym. I've used it bench pressing, I've used it dumbbell curls, I've used it any exercise that you might think is hard, whether it's a deadlift or a squat. You got to use this trick, all right? And this trick is simply just pushing your mind just a little more, right? Just a little bit more, because you actually are strong enough, but your mind wants to preserve yourself. Your mind wants to preserve you and keep you comfortable, right? Because anything that makes you uncomfortable, your mind starts panicking. It starts saying, what's going on? I'm not used to this, right? So the way that you do it is, when I go and tell myself I'm going to do 100 pull-ups, right? If I focus on the 100, the work looks big. It looks like a mountain, right? It looks like a mountain to climb. It looks like you're looking up and you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're thinking, that's really high. That's going to be a long journey. But you can't focus on that, right? In life, you can't focus on the top of the steps. I say this all the time. You can't focus on the top of the stairs. You can't focus on the top of the stairs. You got to focus on the next step. That's the only way you'll get to the top, right? In anything you do in life, that's the only way you'll get to the top, is if you focus on the step that is in front of you. So you take the next step and you take the next step, and eventually you will be at the top of the stairs. But if you're at the bottom of the stairs looking up, you can't jump all the way up there, right? The task is almost going to seem daunting. It's almost going to seem scary. And on a day, especially when you're not motivated, a day, especially when you're feeling lazy or tired or low on energy, you got to hack your brain. You got to trick it by doing this. So you trick your brain into doing the whole workload, right? But you do it in small increments. So what I do, I told myself I'm going to do 100 pull-ups, and I'm going to do 50 sets of 2, right? 50 sets of 2. So I was out there, 2, chill. 2 more reps, chill. 2 more reps, chill. And you simply break it down in your mind like that. And even when I was doing it that way, I broke it down in my mind so many different ways that I completed the 100 like it was nothing, right? When if I would have thought about it, I'm going to do 100 pull-ups. Oh my God, how am I going to do 100 pull-ups? Your mind is going to start panicking, right? But if you do it this way, you actually complete the workload, and it feels so easy. It feels so easy, and you could do this with anything. I do this with my push-ups, right? I normally do at least 100 push-ups a day or 200, and I always do them in sets of 10. So 10 push-ups, take a little rest, 10 push-ups, take a little rest, 10 push-ups. Not so much rest to where you're not really feeling anything, but just a little pause so your mind doesn't feel like it's doing all this work, right? Your mind only feels like it's just doing 10 reps or 2 reps, whatever it is. So you are slowly, this is you. Like if you have 100 pull-ups or whatever your goal is, 2 pull-ups, 2 pull-ups, 2 pull-ups. Eventually you do so many, you get to your goal, right? You reach your goal. But if you would have just focused on the 100, if I would have focused on the 100, I probably wouldn't have got them done. Especially today, I wasn't feeling motivated. I woke up and I didn't really feel like I had the energy. But as a man, life is about what you have to do. And I have to train. I have to do that. Especially since I know my pull-ups are weak. I told myself my pull-ups, I know it's my weak point. And I told myself, all right, I'm going to do 100 pull-ups today. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to get them done. And I actually did them fairly quick. Why? Because I tricked my brain. I tricked my brain by saying, all right, 50 sets, 2 reps. And when I was doing the sets, right, this is how I tricked my brain even more, even further. Because your mind is your strongest muscle. If your mind is weak, then your body will give out first. But if your mind is strong, it can push your body beyond your limits. So what I did, I said 50 sets, 2 reps, right? And even while I was doing that, I was breaking it down like this. All right, so 2 reps. Every time I did 2 reps, I would, in my mind, I wouldn't focus on the 50 sets, right? Because 50 sets is the long-term goal. Even though that's still broken down for the 100, 50 sets is the long-term goal. So what would I do? All right, so I'm going to do 10 sets of 2, right? 10 sets, each 2 reps. So every time I did 1, and then I did 2, and then I did 3. And by the time I counted to 10, I would reset. All right, let me do 10 again. And I'm going to do that 5 times. So you really just have to break it down to your mind so that everything seems so easy. You got to give your mind small tasks, especially if you haven't been going to the gym for a long time. And especially if you're new to the gym, or if you're new to dieting, or if you're new to saving money or working more, whatever it is, whatever your path is in life, when you are not being productive, or you haven't really, your mind hasn't gotten used to that workload, you have to feed it in small increments. Feed it in small increments. Let your mind handle a small task first before it can handle a bigger one. So, for example, let's say you want to do 200 push-ups. And if you've never done push-ups, right? Or maybe you can, like, I can do a lot of push-ups in a row, right? But I break it down like that so that the work always gets done. The work always gets done because I'm not telling my mind that it's this huge task, right? I break it down into small increments and I get it done. I get it done. This could be used whatever. You could say, I'm going to do 500 push-ups today. And you break it down however you'd like. However your mind can get yourself to get going, right? Because once you get going, it's a lot easier to get the ball rolling. You are now in motion, right? But when you're stuck and you're thinking about it, you're thinking about, should I start? Oh, but that's going to take a long time. Oh, I want to be successful. Oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. But they say it might take, I don't know, 500 videos you got to post. I might not see results for 4 years. I might not see results for 5 years, whatever it is. But if I just sit here and I wait and I procrastinate and I think about it and I just keep on thinking about it and thinking about it, you haven't even started the task. When you could have been started, you could have just focused on today. All right, I'm going to make sure I do what I have to do today. Tomorrow, all right, I'm going to make sure I do what I have to do today. And you continually do that, and over time, you have reached your goal, whatever your goal is. But if you don't start and you let that fear and that thought of what if I fail, or that is such a big goal, it's such a big task, you're going to be paralyzed and you're going to get no progress. So you have to trick your mind on the days where it's feeling lazy, on the days where it's feeling unmotivated. Remind yourself of your why, remind yourself of the long-term vision, and then find a way to break it down in your mind so that the task seems smaller than it actually is, right? Break it down. Break it down. Don't give your mind such a big task, because your mind is going to do whatever it takes to keep you from discomfort. But what do? You break it down into really small increments and you feed it. You feed it. You keep going. You keep going. You keep going. You don't stop. You keep going. Because it's a lot easier to tell yourself, you can't do 2 pull-ups, right? If you tell yourself, I can't do 100 pull-ups, maybe that is true, right? Maybe you can't do 100 in a row. But when you ask yourself, you can't do 2 pull-ups? What's 2 pull-ups? 2 pull-ups, that's it? All right, boom, 2 pull-ups. You can't do that again? 2 pull-ups? And then by the time you get to 50, it just feels so easy because it's like you can't do 2 pull-ups, even though by the time you're almost at 90 pull-ups, your lats might be hurting, your arms might be sore. But you ask yourself, you can't do 2 pull-ups? So you do the work, and then when you look back, you say, oh look, I did the work. I did everything that I needed to do. The 100 pull-ups were completed for the day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you get it done. Get it done, guys, all right? Use this little trick and make your mind think that the workload is easier. I've done this on the bench press too. When I'm pushing some heavier, some weight that is heavy for me, right? And I'm doing, I don't know, 10 reps. I don't count to 10. I count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, until I get to 10. Or I might even count 1, 1, 1, because in your mind, the number 1 is so small. But if you count to 10, by the time you get to 9, your mind is going to start thinking, oh my God, I've just done so much. I'm already at 9. When you could simply just tell your mind 1, 1, 1. By the time it gets to 10, it doesn't even feel like it's been 10. All right, guys, I hope this trick helps you out. It's definitely helped me out in my life. So I hope you find some value in this.